RadioNOW 100.9's Indy Connection with Emily Metheny.
Hi, I'm Emily Metheny, your host. Fall is scholarship season, and it is in full swing here in Central Indiana. A scholarship with a nearing deadline is with Indy Pride. Chris Handberg is the Indy Pride Executive Director, and Tiffany Hanson is Indy Pride's Director of Marketing. They stopped by and told me a little bit about the requirements for the scholarship, the history of the organization, and some upcoming events.
Can you tell me a little bit about the history of Indy Pride and how it came to be here in Indianapolis?
Absolutely. So Indy Pride, as an organization, was founded in 1995, but it was really born out of a lot of grassroots organizations that started as early as 1982, which is the first recorded known gathering of gay people to have dinner together. And they had a series of dinners together at the Essex Hotel, which was on the Circle. It's closed now, but people would wear masks to go into it because that was the time period that they were living in. And then afterwards, they started having community picnics in local parks, and it kept growing year after year to become the organization it is now. And I really love that we still continue to have a community picnic every year, which really honors that history, and it probably is the most special event to me because there's such a rich history of that event.
And when is the picnic annually?
It's usually the first Sunday of June, just before the festival and parade.
And with the parade, how many years has the parade and festival been around in Indianapolis?
It depends on what you mean by festival. It depends on what you mean by parade. I would say I think the parade started in 2003 formally. Before, it was people gathering on Mass Ave in pickup trucks or gathering on the Circle and closing it off and just having a big party. So the idea of what the festival is really has evolved over time, and we've been at our current location since 2017, and this year in 2019 we had 55,000 people clocked in with registered tickets and all of that, which is the first time we've had that data point, and it really felt massive.
And this was the event that was out at Military Park.
Correct.
Perfect. And then with the parade, when did it expand to the entirety of Mass Ave?
I think that 2003 is when it was formalized. The route along Mass Ave has changed a lot because of construction. If you've ever traveled on Mass Ave, we love our construction. And just length and stuff like that. I know that we are the largest parade in Indiana. We beat other well-known parades with the size and scope, and so we're really proud of that. The city estimates about 50,000 people come to that parade as well.
That's amazing.
Right?
And because it is the fall right now, it's scholarship season. So, can you tell me a little bit about Indy Pride scholarships?
So you can find all this information online. So if people are interested in finding out more or need to go back and take a look at it, if you go to indypride.org and then click on the resources button, the educational scholarships is right underneath that. So the scholarship program started in 2006. So we've been doing this now for quite a while. We've awarded over 100 scholarships to date. So we've helped around that many students, and we have awarded $116,050. So we've put that much money just back into the community as far as helping to support our student population.
How does someone apply for the scholarship?
You literally just go to our website and there are instructions there, and that's how you upload the necessary documents, and then we have a committee that reviews them. One person in the committee redacts all of the identifying information, and we just go on the merits of the essay and the information provided.
Excellent. And with the scholarship, is it just in the fall or is it also in other semesters as well?
So we have a fall scholarship program as well as a spring scholarship program. The fall scholarships are announced at our annual community Thanksgiving event, which is coming up. And then the spring scholarships are actually announced at the Indy Pride Festival. So we invite the students who are awarded to come on stage and be recognized really by the whole community, which is a pretty cool thing.
It's pretty amazing. I think that is almost as good as the money for the people that win the scholarships.
Yeah, that is fantastic. And can I ask what some of the requirements are for the scholarships?
Really, you just have to be a student that is enrolled in an accredited school. So we do have some high school seniors that apply for these scholarships. In addition to that, could be new students in college. We also have some people who are in grad programs that are applying as well. So you just have to be enrolled in a program. And then we essentially evaluate the scholarship applications based upon your involvement in the LGBTQ plus community and how you can use your education essentially to contribute to uplifting the community.
It's important to know the deadline for the scholarship program is November 5th. Please apply before then. We typically have a variety of applicants, and we love to make sure that everybody is seen and heard.
I was reading on the website, if you've received one the semester before, you're not eligible again. But this is something you could apply for multiple times.
Absolutely.
Right. And we have students that do that.
And if someone wants to get involved, like an underclassman in high school, they want to start getting involved in the community, how can they do that?
One of the biggest ways that you can get involved with Indy Pride is to be part of our Festival Leadership and Planning Committee. It takes a lot of volunteers to pull off 15 events plus the parade and festival in May and June. And so we are always looking for volunteers, and you can look at our social media and our website in around November, December for those call-out meetings and information. We're hoping to have a call-out meeting sometime in December to get an interest of the community and see what people are wanting to do to volunteer this year.
You can also email volunteer@indypride.org to kind of put your email address and your intent out there, and then that way we have your information and we can reach out to you whenever we have opportunities available as well.
Is there an age requirement? How does it work?
We do. There's not necessarily an age requirement, but if you're under the age of 18, we do have to talk to your parents and get a permission slip signed because of liability issues. Anyone is welcome. We have so many opportunities, from planning the entertainment to working on the logistical side, to working with the vendors, to working with the parade. There's so much that if you wanted to get involved, you will find a place that you're absolutely going to love.
On that note too, we also have, which is kind of cool, parents that will actually volunteer with their kids. So sometimes it's a really great way for parents to show their support to their own family members to be able to, or vice versa, for kids to be able to show support to their parents and make it more of a family event to volunteer together.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
It's an amazing opportunity. And with some of the events coming up, can you tell me what's coming up besides the Thanksgiving dinner?
Well, we have our annual meeting that's coming up, and this will probably be the first time we're talking about it on the media, so yay,
Ooh.
Exclusive breaking news.
Yes.
We have been working with Central Library for the past year to donate a large collection of LGBTQ material, and some of it's fiction, nonfiction, biographies, that sort of thing. And it will create one of the largest LGBTQ exhibits in the country at Central Library, and we're unveiling that on November 14th at our annual meeting and volunteer appreciation night. And so it is going to be fantastic. There'll be a permanent display talking about the collection and its origins. It will be easily referenced through their card catalog system, and there was only about a 7 to 10% overlap between the materials they already had and the materials we donated. So there is a lot of really new, good resources for kids, for adults, for people to access to learn about our history and our community.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
And then the next event that's coming up after that is our Community Friendsgiving event, which is on Sunday, November 24th. That runs from 5 p.m. until about 8 p.m., and it's going to be at the Tube Factory Art Space. We're really excited. This is a pitch-in event, and we typically have great attendance from a lot of community members that bring their own family recipes. We provide the turkey and the ham, and then we ask people to kind of bring a little bit of themselves to the event. We're partnering with Gender Nexus on that, and they typically will bring a bunch of board games so that people can kind of play as a big family, play games together and enjoy a meal. And then, of course, we'll be announcing the fall scholarship recipients at that event as well.
And is this a ticketed event? Is this an RSVP event?
So we ask that you RSVP so that we know how much turkey and ham to provide. You can find that information on our website, indypride.org, on the events tab. We also have that posted as a Facebook event. You can find that on Eventbrite as well. So it's absolutely free to register. We just ask that you register so that we know how much food to be able to prepare for everyone.
Otherwise, we all eat ham and turkey for weeks on end.
Weeks and weeks.
Or, just use it for Thanksgiving at your own home.
Right.
What's coming up in 2020?
What's coming up in 2020? Well, it's the 200th anniversary of the city, and so we're planning some events around that. We have our festival and parade that we are kicking into high gear and planning for, along with our amazing other events like Pet Pride, events like the Hoosier 250.
The community picnic, Girl Pride, Pride Skate. There's a youth night as well, our youth-focused event. Trans Glam is our event specifically for our gender diverse community.
The Rainbow 5K.
Rainbow 5K.
For the healthy people in this world. We love to go out and run. You dress up in rainbow gear, you dress up in whatever colors, however you feel you want to express yourself. And there are some people that are very competitive and do it in 2 minutes, and there are others that take a more casual pace, and then we shut down the course.
That's also a very family-friendly event. We see a lot of parents with kids, sometimes with strollers, sometimes with dogs. So some folks do go gung-ho and try to beat their time from last year, and other folks, it's just a really great, fun event where they feel a lot more relaxed and just kind of walk.
And so we'll be announcing and putting dates on our website just probably in January, and so just be on the lookout for that. But as in years past, we'll have a lot of things for people to do to celebrate their pride.
Excellent. And your website is indypride.org.
It is.
And what's your social media?
So we're on Instagram, Twitter, and Facebook. You can also find us on LinkedIn, and our handle is at Indy Pride on all of those platforms.
Is there anything else you guys would like to add?
I think one of the other things that we would love to put out there is that we try as hard as we can to collaborate with all the other LGBTQ plus organizations in the area. We go to a lot of events. We try to support all the other folks as much as we can and share their information through our social media and things like that as well. So we try as hard as we can to pull together and kind of be a centralized place for people to find information about just about any way to get involved in the community.
And if someone in a different organization wants to reach out and collaborate, what's the best way to do that?
The best way to reach and to get an answer immediately is to email info@indypride.org. That comes to me, and I'm usually pretty good about a 24-hour turnaround on email, just depending on the time of year. But info@indypride.org is the best way to reach somebody, and then we can connect you with the appropriate places.
Remember, you just need to be enrolled in a program to be eligible to apply for the scholarship, so that includes undergrad and graduate programs. The deadline for the fall round for the Indy Pride Scholarship is November 5th, and more information is available online at indypride.org. So speaking about November 5th, it's also Election Day. I spoke with Jeremy Burton from the Marion County Board of Voters about what everyone needs to bring with them to vote and how to register for the next election. What is the voter registration? Like, what do you do?
We are charged with maintaining a list of registered voters in Marion County, making sure that list is accurate, and assisting the election board with the administering of elections for Marion County residents.
And on the big scale of things, why are local elections important?
Well, all elections are important, and voting is a privilege. Not everyone gets to do that around the world, and so we believe everyone should take advantage of that privilege we have here in the United States.
And what are the requirements to be able to vote here in Marion County?
Sure. You have to be a resident of Marion County, at least 18 years of age, and a U.S. citizen. And in order to vote in this election, you would have had to have registered by October the 7th. So registration is closed for this election, but if you're unsure if you're registered to vote, you can visit www.indianavoters.com and put in your name and find out if you're registered. A lot of times people don't realize that they're registered, and they really are. And so you can always double check there.
And if I just turned 18 before October 7th, how would I, well, even for the upcoming election, how would I go about registering to vote?
Sure. If you turn 18 by Election Day, you have the right to register when you're 17. So if your birthday is on November the 5th, Election Day, then you could have registered for this election before October the 7th. But anybody who wants to register can still do it. It just wouldn't be in effect until the next election. But you can go to www.indianavoters.com and register online. You could also print off and mail in the registration form from that same website. You could, of course, stop by our office and register in person at the City-County building as well.
Okay. And what's the address of the City-County building?
It's 200 East Washington Street in Indianapolis, and we're in room W131.
And what are your guys' hours?
What are our hours? 8 a.m. to 4:30 p.m. Monday through Friday.
Excellent. And people, once they submit their information and if they mail in their application, they can look to see that they're registered with IndianaVoters.com, correct?
Correct. And like I said, registration for this election is closed. And starting on December 2nd, when registration opens back up, we'll start processing all those forms and online applications that came in after October 7th.
Okay. And what is the next big election? Well, what is the next election?
The next election is the 2020 primary in May. And so if you're not registered, go ahead and submit your application now, and you'll be ready for the May 2020 primary election.
Oh, also, to update your information, since I moved counties, it would just be to go
Same form.
Huh? Same
form? Same website, everything. It just, instead of clicking I'm a new registrant, you'd click, update registration, and then you'd put your previous mailing address and your address and your current one.
Okay.
Yeah, so that's just as easy.
Oh, perfect.
Or, for example, if you married and changed your name or changed your name for some other reason, same form.
And for people who are registered and they check online and they see that they are able to vote in this upcoming on November 5th,
Sure.
Where can they find their polling location?
Sure. So, first of all, Marion County is a vote center county, so residents can vote at any vote center location on Election Day. And so they can vote at the one closest to where they work or where they live or wherever they are in the city that day. But if you go to www.indyvotes.org, you can actually type in an address and find out which vote center is closest to that address.
And if someone is listening outside of Marion County, so if they're in Hendricks, if they're in Johnson, can they still go online to Indiana Voters and find their polling locations?
You can. IndianaVoters.com is statewide. IndyVotes.org is specific to Marion County.
Okay.
But the same information is available at IndianaVoters.com for all Indiana residents.
And on Election Day, what do people need to bring with them?
Sure. They should bring an ID, and that ID must have your photo, your name, an expiration date, and be issued by either the state of Indiana or the U.S. government. So, for example, your Indiana driver's license would work, an Indiana ID card or a U.S. passport would work. And by the way, your address does not have to match the address on the polling list.
Oh, okay.
So it's just looking at your photo, your name, expiration date, and who issued the ID.
So, for example, in my case, I have my old mailing address in Johnson County on my ID. So So as long as I'm registered in Marion County, where I now live, it doesn't have to match up. As long as I have my Indiana ID, driver's license.
Exactly right.
Perfect.
Exactly right.
And how long, if we have an 18-year-old who's just voting for the first time, how long can they expect the voting process to actually take?
Usually it takes anywhere from 10 to 15 minutes, if that. And the ballot is so small right now, it's probably going to take a lot quicker than that. Usually the busiest times on Election Day are 10 a.m. and 3 p.m. and at the end of the day. But even at those busy times, there's plenty of locations and plenty of machines, and the process should go rather quick.
And if someone wants to find information about the candidates, where can they find that?
Sure. That's a great question. The candidates, a lot of them have web pages. They could search their name on Google. You could also visit your local newspaper website to find out information and articles about them. But there's no public website managed by the public government that tells you anything about the candidates. You'd have to research that using news sources and the candidate's own information.
Excellent.
Mm-hmm.
And is there anything else that I left out that would be very important for first-time voters or returning voters to know?
Well, I would just remind people to visit indianavoters.com and just double-check that you're registered. And also make sure you know where you want to vote by going to indyvotes.org and looking up your location. And remember that voting is a privilege, and it's not difficult at all, and you should do it. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
All right. Thank you very much, Jeremy. I really appreciate you calling and talking with me today.
Thanks, Emily. My pleasure.
So, unfortunately, you can't register to vote in the election coming up on November 5th, this Tuesday, but you can get ahead of the game and register for the next election, which is the primary in May. When it comes to registering to vote for the primary, there's no difference. It's the same process. You can do it by going online to indianavoters.com. And that's also where you can check and make sure your information's up to date. And if you are voting on November 5th, make sure to bring a photo ID that has your photo, of course, your name, and an expiration date. So passports or Indiana IDs or driver's license. You can also find your polling locations online by going to indyvoters.org if you're in Indianapolis, or you can go to indianavoters.com, which can help if you're not directly within Indianapolis. Thank you to Chris and Tiffany for coming in and talking about Indy Pride scholarships, some upcoming events, and the super secret but not so secret collection being donated to the public library. And thank you to Jeremy Burton, the Chief Deputy for the Marion County Board of Voters. Thank you for joining me this week. If you have any questions, comments, or if you want me to talk about something specific, you can email me at emetheny, that's EMETHENY, at radio-1.com. I look forward to hearing from you. And until then, have a great week.
Radio Now 100.9's Indy Connection with Emily Metheny.